Yo, what's up, everyone? It's Andrew Nakis coming in hot from my computer again with another VRADCAD developer update video. Um, Super excited where I'm at. This is a mesh up of the last two videos. So, porting the open source TiltBrush uh, clone that I did with the existing kind of VR mesher that I've been working on. And so, they kind of work together. There's some features kind of overlapping them, and let's jump in. I'll talk about it, and then kind of get really stoked at what's next. So I guess just jumping into it, it's mainly the tilt brush controls, just because I really like that UI. And I mean, overall, I think this experience from a user experience perspective is so simple. Like it just works really well. So overall, like this is like I think a really solid starting point to kind of go on. But yeah, essentially you can just draw things, you can undo the color picker, all that normal stuff. There's like another brush right now. Honestly, like it's kind of glitchy. Like you see, like if I go slow, it doesn't update right away. So I'm gonna need to do some kind of changes to that. Like another idea for this is like I should use this flat brush to make like triangles and squares and like other shaped brushes, which I could do probably pretty easily. Also, I think like if I slow the update cycle, it should kind of smooth out a lot of these crappy sections. So that's kind of that. I think there's like minor improvements, but that's like there for OpenBrush and pretty fun. But then I think one cool thing is I took some of these same concepts that I has for like open brush color selection and just brought them so they work natively inside the meshing example. So it's actually pretty fun to like make colors. And like I don't know how useful this is for like an engineer. I mean, I guess some people like it is really useful, especially like adding transparencies to stuff. It could be really nice. Which is currently not supported. That's like definitely something that will happen, or at least the ability to like ramp down opacity. But this is like I think a really kind of solid, kind of in a solid place at least. And so it's like exciting to get these like very basically integrating together. That kind of looks exactly like the Unity no texture thing, and like obviously like the menus are just literally over kind of where they were before, and so it's like not ideal. Snapping's also like kind of weird. I think it's like the the cursor needs to like be kind of above the controller, and it's not right now. I think just because the snapping level is like way too high. So definitely gonna try to turn that one down. And like there's a lot of like small things that like aren't completely fixed with this, but it's like definitely there's a lot of potential. And the other thought is like a lot of these like things like I don't really like are like things that I know how to fix. And so it shouldn't be, or like all the new features are things that I know how to add. So it's kind of this exciting time because we're in like this time where a lot of the features that are out or that will be coming out like will be like really amazing. I'm gonna change that color. That's like the worst color ever. Just reminds me of horrible memories from Unity. When my textures don't work. This menu system like totally is not ideal, but it works. So it's should be an easy switch to improve it. It was a little hacky, like kind of porting this stuff over. Like ideally, if I switched to that modeling stuff, like brushes would switch to all the modeling tools and everything kind of will work there. Kind of the other overall thought, just with that modeling example overall, is that it works well, but what it really needs is like a standard tool selection menu. So like essentially what I've built is like a bunch of hotkeys. They're like weird like button combinations that like do specific things, and that's kind of how I built it, just because I was like, this is what I can understand as a developer, and it's a lot fun to model faster than like hitting buttons. But I think I need to refactor the entire code to make it kind of like more friendly to like tool selection. So if someone doesn't really know how to use the app, they can learn via the tool selection and then like eventually pick up the hotkeys and be modeling super fast. Because I think like this idea of, well, what's the advantage of VR is that like it's the intuitive way to kind of 3D model. And so if they're the right tools, as long as those tools can be taught in an efficient way where you can learn them, but then also learn how to use them fast and efficiently, it's going to be like a really fun app. Some other interesting ideas just around improving like this open brush example is that like this stuff's like pretty fun, but I think an interesting thing that I'm thinking is like, how do I overlap the two meshing and brushing examples? So you see, if I like go into the mesh example, it's like I place points down in like a precise location, and then it builds the mesh later based on that point. And so like this is nice for like really precise things, or like, I mean, with snapping and like line distance features, like it's going to be really awesome for just kind of doing anything. But it's like ultimately like really slow. And so like adding in like some of these like extruding features, like I did that because I knew that that was going to be like a much better, like a much more funner way to do it faster. But like what's exciting is like now to say like, okay, well, what happens when the brush tool has snapping and like spline or like the same point level, which like is totally going to be a feature that happens. It's like, wow, this is going to be exciting. Or like what happens like the same way I can like move a mesh kind of just with transform, or like I can rotate it even. Like why can't that be done? And I mean, it is going to be done with this tool. I mean, or this like mesh essentially. Or like crazy idea would be like, so essentially this is kind of me like extruding out a mesh, and then I can like, the nice thing is I can go in and like modify it or whatever. What happens if I could draw this line and then press a button in my tool kit and turn all the vertex points into these and then edit them however I want, or like go in and even if I drew this imprecise line, I could like open up like a spline tool that follows with vertex points over all these points, and I could just move this entire mesh or like shape it to exactly how I want. Like kind of the idea is like this is precision that I think I find and many people find kind of not as ideal for TiltBrush. I mean, TiltBrush is a great program, and all the other VR modeling apps that I've tried are like great to some degree. There's just like always like these things where I'm like, oh, I wish I could do this instead. So that's kind of the gist. I'm like rambling right now, but overall, like there's like these clear kind of next steps of like things that I need to fix and stuff I need to implement, and like it's like wow, this is, I now see the potential, and that seeing of the potential and like being like, I can do this if I just, put in another 100 hours. I can have like a really solid product. Figure out some of these glitches. It's like there's weird updating things now, or not weird, but it's like it's just I don't have all the correct updatings of meshes. So sometimes like meshes get kind of deconstructed and like or like you make mistakes obviously. And so like the exciting thing or like some of the challenging things going forward are going to be like doing like global undo managers and like really dialing in this user experience so it's like something that anyone who understands or like works with 3D now like can appreciate the benefit of this app, but then also like new users can be like get into 3D modeling and design because this app is so easy to use and so intuitive. So like I think there's a clear opportunity for this stuff and I'm excited to explore it. So yeah, that was me rambling. Um, Maybe gonna try experimenting with like longer videos. I don't know how long or like what will work best, but yeah, definitely thanks for watching and catch you in the next video. Peace. Like so far away from the camera. It's weird how VR you're like walking around and you have no idea where you're actually at. But yeah, have a good night, daytime, morning, lunch, whatever next. Peace.